would you have the funding needed to start the technology and make it cutting edge, or create new
Mhm.
technology that would be able to beat whatever Grab or Lala Move or all of these other logistics company own already? Hey guys, welcome back to the Leadership Stack Podcast, the podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs to increase your leadership, teamwork, and profits. This is your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. We have MJ, and her question is, I heard logistics businesses are not advisable in our country because of the traffic. Would it be advisable to engage in this business this pandemic?
You know what? I have a friend who is recently actually thinking about starting a logistic business.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not really sure if it's advisable to engage to this business. But do you think, Sean, this is another question from this question, okay?
Mhm.
Maybe just to support also the question from MJ. Like right now, since a lot of people are also doing online shopping and stuff like that, is it also like one of the factors that people can think about when starting any logistic business? Kasi di ba parang online nga eh, online everything. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think that there are a lot of startups already today that
Mhm.
have gone into the logistics industry,
Yeah.
but a lot of them are in Metro Manila. So
Mm.
in terms of the provincial areas, I think there's still huge opportunity to start logistics businesses there. It's tough to compete with the giants here. Especially kasi alam naman natin medyo monopoly dito si Grab, no? That's gonna be tough. Those are the factors playing in my mind as an entrepreneur, questioning myself if ever I'm gonna go and start a logistics company. Those are the things that I
Mhm.
would be looking at. And ang labanan sa logistics ngayon would be the technology. Would you have the funding needed to start the technology and make it cutting edge, or create new
Mhm.
technology that would be able to beat whatever Grab or Lala Move or all of these other logistics company own already? I don't think ang labanan would be the manpower or the vehicle. That's no longer the case. You can already acquire manpower or vehicles at a very reasonable price. It's the technology where the battle is in. So even with stemming from MJ's question about the traffic I think is not much of a concern now. Kasi
Yeah.
halos wala naman traffic na ngayon eh. Yeah, but it's the technology talaga. We have to check that.
The important thing is about the technology. If you can offer something new or something more updated, and at the same time, where you'll start your logistic business. So, what you mentioned, Sean, it's you think it's better also if you'll be in the provincial areas instead here in Metro Manila.
The next question is from MJ still. Is it also better to target SME and MSMEs for this type of business, for the logistics business? No.
It depends also on your goal. There are a lot of SMEs as well who are in need of better options when it comes to logistics. So, yeah.
Let's first segment them well. The SME and MSME, ang susunod na sa kanila would be the enterprise level clients, which is the big
Mm.
players na sila Procter and Gamble, Unilever. They most probably have already their logistics systems in place. So I think that it is pretty much the only target you
Mm.
can target, no? Kasi if you're gonna be starting pa lang, it has to be the SMEs and the MSMEs. And they're the majority of the demand now as well. I mean, you see all of these sellers on Lazada or Shopee or native websites or Shopify, they are hiring logistic companies left and right, and they're usually not brand loyal pa. They're brand agnostic pa. Whoever
Mm.
can provide the cheapest, best,
Yeah.
and most reliable rate, that's where they're gonna go for. And so I don't think that the logistics for non-food na MSME or SMEs is
Mhm.
dominated that well yet. I don't think that a lot of online sellers are using Grab. I think there's using a lot. Whoever
Yeah.
would be cheaper, faster, more reliable, I think that's what they're using. So definitely, there's no other target. The enterprise market is gonna be super tough for you. For me, not worth it to go for the enterprise level market. Just target the SMEs and the MSMEs. Would it be better to amplify the services in Metro
Mhm.
Manila first or cater to three regions agad? I would take this from my answer earlier, where the competition is less. So it has to be on the provincial areas. Could be Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao, but
Yeah.
not Metro Manila. And the reason behind that is to just test it out first.
Mhm.
Because if you're gonna scale it to nationwide first, that means you have very deep pockets. That means you have a lot of capital to be able to compete, to be able to fund mistakes. There's a book called The Lean Startup by Eric Rice, where he says you can minimize your risk by learning from a fast feedback loop. First, create the minimum viable product. Ibig sabihin kung ano yung pinakamababang kailangan mong gastusan
Mhm.
para mag-start ng business mo, yun na muna. Kung bicycle lang, mag-bicycle ka muna. Kung kailangan ikaw mismo yung mag-take ng order at mag-deliver, do
Mhm.
that. Just to see if you're gonna have customers, because the number one thing about the business is not the idea, it's not even the capital, it's the customer. If you don't have a customer, you don't have a business. So you have to make sure you have a customer. Do it the lean startup way, minimize your risk, and first use a minimum viable product, learn, and then you can roll it out to the major cities, and
Mhm.
then maybe roll it out to the entire three major regions.
It's important to start small and start simple. And from there, if you need to like improve things, 'di ba? Parang you can improve while your business is growing as well.
Next question from MJ. Do you have experience with
With
real
real
estate?
estate.
Okay, is it okay to proceed with this type of business as well in this pandemic if we're aiming for sale? Oh, what about leasing out? I don't have a lot of experience in real estate. How about you, JM?
I have a lot of friends who are into real estate also. And during this pandemic, napansin ko lang din na halo kasi there are mixed kind of people. So some people, they're taking advantage of the pandemic and they are really investing into real estate. I think it will really depend on the kind of real estate that you have. And sinabi niya, what about leasing out properties? So I think the same thing. It's really hard nowadays, Sean, when it comes to any kind of businesses, I think in general.
Yeah,
But when it comes to leasing out properties, I think it's still a good business when it comes to real estate. There are still a lot of people, especially there are a lot of Chinese, sorry, right?
mhm,
Chinese people who are
yeah,
coming back here in the Philippines, actually, even
yeah,
recently,
yeah,
even
yeah,
amidst of the pandemic. And I have friends who are renting out as well their properties for them. So
yeah.
I think there's a market pa rin naman. Yeah.
Right. I have made an investment during the pandemic for the future of SEO Hacker. So we were able to, well, the deal has not been yet fully closed, but we were able to be awarded now with the property. That is to build the headquarters of SEO Hacker in the
Mm-hmm.
next 3 to 5 years. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
blank lot that we were able to buy, not far from here, maybe 5 minute drive. Still in BF Paranaque because I don't want to commute that far to work or drive that far to work. Now, that's something that I really don't want to do. And that saves me a lot of time to innovate, create more stuff for my clients and my team. But, I don't flip properties. I don't lease out properties as well. I do think that there are a lot of people who are finding it hard to rent out or lease out their property. Kasi sa Aguirre pa lang which is a
Mm-hmm.
major commercial road here in BF Paranaque, you would see a lot of houses and commercial properties for lease, for sale. Talagang it's hard and no
Yeah.
one's no one's biting it. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
been for lease for the last year. And it
Mm-hmm.
used to be a big business. So I think it's tough right now
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the leasing business. But if you're planning to chomp up really good real estate, I think this might be the time, because there are a lot of people selling property because they need money. So
Yeah.
that's my opinion. And that's
Yeah.
why I also invested. Tsaka tapos na yung Skyway, so
Mm.
tataas ang value ng property pretty much everywhere. I know here in BF, definitely it's gonna increase.
When you create a good reputation, create a proper legacy, you can do important things and make people do more meaningful lives. Are you doing something meaningful? What is it that you want to leave as a legacy in your life? And when you tie into that, by gosh, it's powerful.